Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bingy's Theory. It's 4th of July week! Um, sorry, I don't have a title card or anything like that. I don't have fancy video editing equipment. I'm cheap. Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about Despicable Me 2 and the Lone Ranger. Now, but before I get started, I have to mention this because, my God, does this need to be mentioned? Oh man, I see, this was. I would say this was a highlight of the day, even though I was constantly thinking about this the entire day, but it's definitely something that it astounds me to how much lazy my local movie theater is. And so, okay, to give you a short story, I haven't quite eaten all day because I was helping out one of my best friends who was going through a hard time, and I haven't eaten, so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go to the movie theater and get some nachos or something. So when I get there, usually they have these containers. They have like these trays of nachos that are like getting heated up and everything, and I didn't see those for some reason. I was like wondering, are they stopped serving nachos or something? But then, as I got closer to the cashier, I started noticing that the trays are there. It's just the nachos that aren't there, and there's a reason why. I literally cannot believe this. It still astounds me. It really does. And hopefully I hope you guys can see this. I really do. This is now a make your own nacho home theater nacho set at my local theater. It comes with a bag. Comes with a container with the nacho cheese, and if you want, you get this green container that has jalapenos. So basically, you have to make your own set of nachos. You have to pour it yourself. You have to pour down the cheese if you want to, and if you want, you have to put the jalapenos on top of the chips and all that jazz. Really? Really? I know it's useless complaining about something that's like as little meaning as that, but here's the thing. I used to work at that movie theater. I used to have to deal with like the bullshit rule that once you make your own set of nacho trays or whatever, you actually have to you have to get a tonsil, you have to pick up the chips, and you have to perfectly align them. You have to make them like upright and everything to a position, to a point where it looks like it's been professionally done. And it doesn't look sloppy, like you just grabbed a handful of chips and just put them on a tray and then just give it to the customer. It's like, but in all honesty, nobody gives a shit about like how perfectly aligned your nachos are. They just want their fucking nachos. So they were giving me lots of crap from the times I've started there to perfectly align the nachos and everything. And not only that, but try to keep up with like everybody that was coming in to see Justin Bieber 3D concert because I was working there at the time, and that was hell. But yeah, for the longest time they were giving me such shit for that, and I found it ridiculous to begin with because nobody cares how perfectly aligned your nachos are. They just want to eat. They want their nachos. They want their money's worth because the prices for those nachos can be fucking insane to somebody who has not a lot of money. And that's one of the main problems I've had with this theater. And it just astounds me. It really astounds me that fucking we have to make our own nachos now. You give us a tray with a bag full of nachos, and you say like, you open it up, you pour it down, and you scoop up the fucking cheese that we put in this container. If you want the jalapenos, yeah, you're gonna have to open that up too and get the nachos out and everything. Granted, the chips are not as bad as the regular chips on there. They were pretty fucking stale for the most part, But this is just astounding. I really cannot believe this. I really can't believe that they actually did this. So, I can get away with it because I used to work there. So, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I just thought that was just fucking insane. I really could not believe it. But anyway, onto our feature presentation. My thoughts on Despicable Me 2 and The Lone Ranger. Now, I'm going to talk about Despicable Me 2 first, even though I watched it last to The Lone Ranger, but I wanted to talk about The Lone Ranger more. Despicable Me 2, in short, is a good sequel to the first movie, which is a series that actually really surprised me how much I actually enjoyed it, and this movie lives up to the sequel's expectations. Now, do I think this is better than the first movie? Not really. I would say it's on the same level as the first movie, where it has its charm, it has its humor, it has all that kind of stuff, and it works for me. I mean, there's not a lot of great kids movies out there nowadays. I think Despicable Me was a big surprise for me, and I truly enjoyed it. The Minions were adorable as usual. The little girls the girls were adorable in this movie. Gru as a character has progressed pretty well. Not only as a person that's trying to do good for the world, but also try to save the world from a new ultimate villain, but also as a father. And I like that. I really did. The only problem I had with it was Kristen Wiig's character. Her character is extremely annoying. Like, my God, this woman was... The fact that a woman like that, as spastic as her, was... And she's working for this anti-villain organization. I'm just like, how the hell does she get this job? But you all know that she's there for the obligatory love interest for Gru, so... That's about it. So, as I said, this is a good movie. I had a good time with it. Check it out. Actually, and you know what? Check it out in 3D, because the 3D is actually used pretty well in this film. So, yeah, by all means, go check out Despicable Me 2. It's worth it. Now on to The Lone Ranger. Okay. I'm just going to say this. I was really not looking forward to seeing this movie. I really was not looking forward to it, because I have no knowledge of the Lone Ranger. I've heard of the theme song. I've heard of Tonto. I've heard of Kiwasabi. I've heard all of that stuff, but I've never actually watched the TV series or read any of the comic books about him or anything like that. So I was kind of hoping this would be good because it's a Gore Verbinski movie, but he's a good director for the most part. Like, I mean, say what you will about Pirates 2 and 3, they're not that... he's still a good director. He really is. The problem is that this film should not have been named The Lone Ranger. It shouldn't. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a little bit, but here's my problems with it. 1, the whole pacing of this film is ridiculous. The editing behind this film is sloppy. My God, is it sloppy. I don't know who the editor is for this movie, but he needs to get fucking either fired or he needs to get some better fucking editing classes, because man, this editing was just horrible. 2, the whole fact, and this is one of the big problems I have with this film, this should not have been called The Lone Ranger. This should have been called Tonto. You know why? Because we focus more on Tonto in this movie than we do with The Lone Ranger, which is not something you want to do when your movie is called The Lone Ranger. We're supposed to side with this guy, but yet we're getting more into Tonto's backstory and his flashbacks and his motivation as to why he's doing the things that he's doing. And you don't get that with with the guy that plays the Lone Ranger. And I can clearly see why, because the Lone Ranger in this movie is so fucking bland that you really do not give a flying fuck about him half the time. You really don't. You don't really feel a connection with this guy. You just look at him as an idiot because he doesn't kill anybody. But he doesn't kill anybody, and he has people who kill people right in front of him, and he has every right to kill this person, but he just doesn't do it because he's that by the books kind of guy. He just wants to be, he wants to send them to justice and everything. But it's the Wild West. Even the law back then was corruptible. It's just he didn't really fall for this. You didn't really feel for this guy because every decision that he makes in this film was a fucking dumbass decision. And like as I said, it just doesn't work for me if you're watching a movie about the Lone Ranger. We're supposed to feel for this character, and you don't get that in this movie at all. And this leads me to another big point, another huge problem I have with this movie. We all know the reason why we wanted to see this film. Every one of you that has seen the trailers for this, I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about. You all wanted to see it for Johnny Depp. Now let me ask you, do you know the person that's playing the Lone Ranger? Do you know his name? Have you any clue? No? Well, that's what I thought. Because the guy is getting second fiddle to Johnny Depp, which is the main reason why anybody would want to go see this film. And it's just that it's a shame though, because the guy, the actor Armie Hammer, is a good actor. He really is. But the problem is he's getting the complete end of the dick in this film. He's getting the way back of the dick, while Johnny Depp is at the top of the shaft where the hole is and everything. At the very top, he's at the very bottom, and he's the guy that's just looking up at Johnny Depp and going, "Hi." And even the advertising shows more of Johnny Depp. There's even a fucking trailer or a commercial of, people like crying out for Tonto instead of the Lone Ranger. What the fuck? This is a movie about the Lone Ranger, not fucking Tonto. So, you know what? I'm actually going to do something that many of the advertising for this movie has failed to do, and that's recognize a good actor. And and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to advertise a movie that has a very good Armie Hammer performance. This right here is the Blu-ray for The Social Network, where this has Armie Hammer. This is the movie that I was introduced to by this guy because he plays the twins in this movie, and he does a phenomenal job. He really does, because he's such a good actor in this. And not only that, he plays both twins, and they don't do this cheap little fucking have him somewhere else while the twin is here in one shot and the other twin is everything. There's a couple shots of that actually, but they put them both in there, and it works so well. And you can tell that he's trying to put different personalities into both of the twins. He does such a good job. And another good film that he's in is J. Edgar, where he plays as J. Edgar's gay lover. He did a good job in that film. So why are you giving him the tail end of the dick for the Lone Ranger when this is supposed to be about the Lone Ranger? Are you telling me? It really astounds me. You're not giving this guy the proper recognition that I think he deserves. He's a good actor. So, nothing against Johnny Depp or anything, but like I said, that's the only reason why you people are thinking about watching this movie, is because of Johnny Depp. That's it. You couldn't give two shits about the Lone Ranger movie. You just want to see it because of Johnny Depp. And you know what? After watching it now, do I recommend this movie? Fuck no. God, no. This is not worth seeing in the theater. This is not worth seeing like when it comes out on DVD. Like if you want to, like wait till it comes down to like maybe $5 or something. If you want to wait that long, or if you're just in that desperate mood to watch it, just wait till it comes down to like $5, because I swear to God, you're not missing much from this movie. Believe me, you're not going to miss anything. It's a 2.5 hour movie. A 2.5 hour movie. It shouldn't be that long, especially for a Lone Ranger movie. So, yeah, like this was not one of the worst films of the year, but this is definitely one of the bad films. This is just bad. I really cannot recommend this. If you want to see Armie Hammer in a good movie, I suggest checking out The Social Network. It is a very good film. I was actually quite surprised how much I really like this film. And check him out in J. Yeager if you must. It's not the best movie, but it's another good performance by Armie Hammer. So Armie Hammer, I'm giving you more props than fucking Disney will. So I hope you get a good role that's going to give you more recognition than you're getting with the fucking Lone Ranger. So that's all I have to say about it. I mean, this was more of a rant than a movie review. But honestly, this was just not good, and it just left me more pissed off about Armie Hammer not getting some recognition I think he so rightfully deserves, because he's a good actor. No offense to Johnny Depp, he can be a good actor, but I don't know. I think we need to give Armie Hammer another shot. So that's about it. So what's next week? Next week is going to be exciting. Pacific Rim is next week. I'm looking forward to that movie so much. I don't care if it's fucking giant, if it's like mindless, like popcorn, like with my eyes, like, you know, like just dazzling images in my eyes, and it's going to be nothing but a shitty story. I don't fucking care. It looks fucking awesome. I'm looking forward to that. But then I found out that Grown Ups 2 is coming out as well. And I've seen the first movie. So that means I might have to see this one. I might have to. Oh well, at least I can rub it. At least I can be able to wash that shit away with some Pacific Rim while I'm at it. So, yep, that's about it. So until next time, guys, this is Big Biggie signing out.